welcome to Bestie Hotline.
Bring, bring.
I'm Kate Reeves.
And I'm 2026 Gemma Peanut.
How to make the DLs know we recorded this in 2025.
Shut up. Don't give me away.
It's Friday in 2026, you guys.
Guys, it's my papa's birthday. It's the 2nd of Janvier.
Happy birthday, Sam.
He is 71 years young.
Congrats, mate.
And he came out for Christmas. 'Twas a special time.
You don't know yet if it was a special time because we were recording this early.
Revs!
Nah, I'm sick of it.
Ruining the magic, Rev.
She is.
I hate the elf on the shelf.
She
and I
hates
hate
Christmas magic.
No, look.
Ruin the magic for your kids. Ruin the magic for your kids. Ruin the magic for DLs.
Everyone's fine.
I know we're fine. It's
Everyone's
fine, guys.
fine. We want to show up and bring episodes through the holidays, and we also want to power down.
We sure do.
So we bank, and that's okay.
It's okay, guys.
The Dilemons just keep coming. They are evergreen.
Or ever yellow.
I'll let it go.
I thought that was good.
Well, yeah.
No one wants to eat a green lemon.
I know, but evergreen is.
I get the word evergreen, and then I was riffing on it and saying it's ever yellow. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Just made you sound a bit dumb.
Nah, clever.
Jam hates my jeans and just put me in a salty mood.
I never said that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I never said.
You can say things non-verbally. I'm just letting you know.
I never said I hate your jeans. I actually hate your top.
Wow, okay.
It's
I'm on YouTube if you want to check out my outfit.
DLs. Rev, stand up.
No.
Yep. It's the combo of the shapes. They don't work together.
You don't work together.
It's okay.
Who called the Bestie Hotline today?
I feel good.
Yes.
That's what I would say to Rafa.
Yes, it did. And like Rafa, I would say yes.
Did that feel good in your body?
Yep. Felt great in my body, felt great in my soul.
Great in your jeans.
Who called the Bestie Hotline, bitch? Who?
Unhinged. It's a write-in.
Yay.
Our DL says, really interested to hear your opinions on strippers. My husband went to a Bucks this weekend and there were 2 strippers that stayed the night. It was 2 hours from a main city, so guess it was a logistics thing. Anyway, I thought strippers were a thing we did 10 years ago. I've definitely been to hens with strippers, but it's always just more for a laugh, for the lols, and no one is actually into it in that way. I just feel like it's much more sexual fantasy for the men. My husband said the girls entertained them all evening/night, but wouldn't really give me any more details. I trust him, but I just feel like it's weird. But maybe it's still a popular thing and I'm just out of wedding season. I feel like you guys have thoughts. Interested to hear.
Your husband isn't allowed to tell you how into it the guys are.
Read between the lines.
Because there's a bro code.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me saying I endorse that. I'm just saying I know there's a bro code and you're not supposed to talk about the bucks or whatever.
And in fact, he probably divulged too much by telling you that the 2 strippers stayed over.
Yeah, well, they're sex workers, obviously, because if they stayed over,
Are
they
they?
won't. A stripper doesn't stay over. No way would a stripper stay over. These would be strippers that would also perform other things.
Ooh.
Yeah, definitely.
Why definitely?
If you're a stripper, you come, you strip, you leave. I don't know.
Okay, but what if like... As I'm saying it out loud, I'm
But what if
realizing
what?
how absurd it is.
Yes.
Like I was about to say, well, what if it is a logistics thing? Like
A
they
logistic
are
thing.
a couple of hours away and it's
Yeah,
not safe for them
the
to
caterer
drive
also
home.
stayed the night, I'm sure. I'm sure the cleaner had to stay the night just so they were there early enough to start the next morning. Come on, everyone. I think a lot of Bucks behavior, I'm genuinely am neutral because I do want to be respectful to sex workers and respectful to but I just think it's hilarious. This is one of those areas in life where we pretend we don't know, but it absolutely is a thing. And I don't know what your line is, but you know, some people get lap dances. They engage in sex acts. You know, it happens. This is what happens on Bucks. And there's this whole thing of like, we don't tell and it doesn't matter.
No,
And
what happens in
it's not-
Vegas.
It's not our real life.
Yeah.
Compartmentalizing. And it's up for you and your couple to figure out where your line is and what you will accept. But they absolutely did not have a little sleepover because of logistics. Come on.
I feel naive
Okay.
because I bought that story initially.
Yeah, we want to. Our brain wants to buy that story. Men are much
It feels seedy.
Yeah.
Like it feels
Yeah.
so fucking seedy, like a group of men. Yes, I respect sex workers and their
and thank God
role
they take one
and
for the team.
absolutely,
You know?
you know, it's like an important job in society,
Yeah.
sadly.
The
for
oldest
the men's.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I would struggle.
Oh,
with that.
I personally would be all right with it.
No, I wouldn't either.
But some people, like, what do we learn from Lily Allen? You know, some people, that's what their preference is. If you're going to cheat on me, it has to be an exchange. You've got to pay for it and it's got to not be in our home, you know?
Yeah, but
Like,
it sounds like our DL wasn't across that.
sounds like our DL is not at all across it and is just had the, like, you know, I always think it's really interesting because sometimes people's partners have a more open relationship, but there's and they kind of do the rest of the crew dirty. Again, I'm not saying that's my viewpoint on it. I'm just saying that's the sort of the understanding that goes on with men. It's like what goes onto us stays onto it. The girls don't get it. It's not our real lives. They compartmentalize. You know, it's a whole other thing. And you're not supposed to share because women would be like, well, hang on, what about this? Well, hang on, what does that mean for this? Well, hang on, what's the line? Oh,
so
he
they
what?
say nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who came home to her husband had his bucks at their home. She went to have her hens on the same night. She came back like 48 hours later and it was like sort of still going. And one of the strippers, let's say, was still there. 48 hours later, upstairs in her room.
Oh,
Like,
ouch.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I hear, there's always one guy in the group that's really into it.
Sure. That's what the story is from the collective group of guys. Oh, no, it wasn't me. It's just Alan.
Old mate.
Alan is so into strippers. So we all indulge Alan because he just loves it. And he organized all of it. He paid for Sure. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not trying to undo anything for the guys. It's fine. But why do you think so many bucks are weekends away? We don't have hens weekends away. I mean, I know they exist.
Some people do.
I know.
yeah.
But largely, bucks are always out on a boat, in a hotel for a night,
I'm
or
trying
a
to-
weekend away,
yeah.
or out of state, out of the country. Why do
Yeah.
you think? It's not just so they can have a novel view. It goes on.
Hectic. What does our DL do in this instance?
Well, I guess it's up to you in what your line would be, and you talk in your couple.
but if what goes on tour stays on tour,
Yeah. Well, then I guess it's up to him to decide
Yeah.
what is my relationship more important than breaking the bro code, or is it absolutely not? And like that's for him to choose his loyalty. And if he's done nothing wrong, then I would be like, listen, if it were me and I was him and he's done nothing wrong, I'd be like, listen, let me level with you. This is what goes on. I don't participate. I don't like it.
But if that, from the sounds of it, that's the line they all sell us.
Well, they might.
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
So how do you know to trust that?
And that's what I mean. That comes down to the couple. But if he's genuinely it sounds like he has accidentally let slip too much info and
For
now he has
sure.
to answer for it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This stuff goes on and I think we don't want to know because I don't think it's out to our taste. Like we wouldn't find that fun to have
Well, I mean, I've been to hens where there has been strippers,
Yeah.
and there's always a couple who are much more into it than everyone else.
of course, yeah.
The person who booked it, who insisted on it, is often very into it, enjoys the performance of it. And then there's always, I've noticed, interestingly, these have always been hens where I'm not friends with everyone in the group. So I've had the opportunity to kind of observe
Yeah,
the
yeah.
behaviors. And then there's always a few people who I can see are deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've never loved it. I particularly don't like being a bridesmaid when you have to get really involved. Because if you're the bride, you can sort of say no or just sit there and be like, no. But
Yeah.
it's like, let's get the bridesmaids. I'm like,
Oh, no, I don't
no.
want
Now I'm going to be
to.
a dickhead if I don't participate. But I'm so not into this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never heard of a hens myself. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I've never heard of a hens where there's like actual sex workers who like stay the night, or you can, if you want, you can pay,
Stay the night.
or if you want, you can pay for an
Sorry.
private lap dance or go off into another room. That definitely happens on bucks.
For sure.
And maybe it's a lap dance, quote, like in inverted commas, but other things go on. Absolutely.
It's funny, I felt weirdly triggered. Maybe triggered's not the right word, but by our DL saying, I trust my husband because I dated someone and that was my line. an ex of mine used to get involved in all sorts of stuff that, little red flags would go up here
Sure.
and there. I'd raise it as a question, and he was always very good at flipping it around to me and being like, I'm the crazy one. And something that I would always say to him was like, no, I trust you. I just don't trust other people with you.
Yeah.
You
It's just things we say.
we tell ourselves that.
It's like, it's not you, it's me. It's definitely you, whoever you're talking to. Like, these are just things we say as like, I don't know, relational lubricant to like try and say what we really think, but like it's hard.
I think what I'm taking away from this conversation is that if you are a man and you do participate in this, say in support of your friend, the rough thing is like you're trying to be part of the group. Maybe you don't approve of it, but then you're going to cop the flack for it from loved ones. And what if you were really well behaved in inverted commas, didn't participate, sat on the sidelines?
So every woman and every man and every couple will have a different line.
Yeah.
Like I personally wouldn't care if my partner went.
Got a lap dance.
I would care about that probably. A private one, I would care. I wouldn't care though if my partner went to a bucks and watched things happen. My line would be participating. However, there are people who are like, I would consider that cheating to be in the same room. To participate, to be part of that, I would absolutely consider that cheating. Or I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But like, some people might be like, yeah, get a lap dance, whatever. I don't care. That sounds fun.
Look, don't touch.
Yeah, look, don't touch. Like everyone, maybe some people might be like, just no penetration. Who knows?
Yeah. No, some women might be, here's some tip money, tip her well.
Yeah, or someone would be like, I can't be bothered. Go for broke. Just be safe. I don't know. Like, I know these are extremes. But I'm just saying you can't judge, like, because everyone's going to have a different thing. But I doubt in the group chat for the Bucks, like, now, where is everyone's line? What is everyone's partner comfortable with?
When I reflect back to our wedding era, and a lot of our husbands at the time had bucks, and all of our husbands were going to each other's bucks.
Yeah.
I never had a conversation with my hubs about our line and what I stood for.
Neither did I.
Ever.
No.
That's why I'm like, I find it interesting, this idea of every couple's got a line or a boundary. Who's having those chats? I haven't been.
Yeah. I think this is what happens is that I think that's, I don't know, a woman will find something out and then it's a cat amongst the pigeons in the group of friends. It's like, hey, we never discussed, because we assume it's just like ours where, yes, as you said, when we have I've been at hens with strippers, they come and it's fun, it's funny, it's a lol.
And then
they
fuck
leave.
off.
Yeah.
They take their money.
And nothing too serious has gone on.
Yeah.
It's more like they're a dancer, to be honest, or
Yes.
a topless waiter.
Yeah, it's a show.
It's a show, yeah. So I think we assume it's the same on the other side, but I actually, as I get older and more stories I've heard, I don't believe that that's the culture. I think it's really different for men.
Yeah, well, I feel for you, DL.
Yeah,
it's hard
very
to hear.
tricky.
Yeah.
I think
As someone who feels aligned with our DL, maybe a bit more naive to these things.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine and hear.
I know, and I think we all like to think, like, I remember being younger and I've heard a story of someone who cheated on their partner on their hens. And I was like, what? How? Like I was so shocked by it at the time because I think I was like not even 30 yet and I'd gotten married. And to me, the wedding season was all just so
joyous
and beautiful and like
a celebration of love and commitment.
And I remember me saying like, I don't need a hens because I don't feel like I'm giving up anything, like I'm happy, I'm good. Like I'm not like, oh no, I'll never see another penis again. Lol, irony. But like that was very much it was just silliness because it's all joy and happy and we trust everyone. But that is maybe the naivety that we have when we're younger and
So if you were to re-partner in the future, would you have that chat?
I'd hope so.
Yeah. I like it's so funny. I can't help but reflect on my own situation, but I've never had the chat with Hubs, but from what I understand, he's never been that into it.
Yeah.
And he's always expressed to me that it's like not his thing.
Yeah.
But now
Like
I question it.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
yeah. Like, is it bro code?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's exactly the same as us. There are chicks who are into it and chicks who are not into it. But like, you're not going to be the one who's like, I'm not into it.
But
So
there's
I'm
nothing salacious happens though.
No.
At hens.
No.
Like when I think back, the worst is like someone shooting a jelly vodka shot out of some guy's deep belly button. You know, like I've witnessed that.
And that just sounds like a sanitation issue
so
to me.
gross. So gross.
Because they all shave their chest and stink of fake tan.
Yeah.
Not for
Snarly.
me.
Not for me either.
Not for me. Call me old fashioned. It's not for me. But, I've seen girls that I know really well, like a total different shade on them when there's a strip around. And
they're into it.
I don't say that in a judgmental way. Like there are people who are like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
fucking into
definitely.
and there's a power dynamic.
Yeah,
and,
they're like, climb all over me.
Look,
That's it. Lap dance for me,
strip
bitch.
clubs are a thing.
Yeah.
For a reason. There's a market, like they're thriving businesses because there's a market there. There aren't a lot of male strip clubs. It's not as much of a market.
That's so funny.
We're different in that way. Really kind of adjacent to this topic, I found I'm really into watching men talk about raising boys at the moment because I'm raising a boy and I'm really trying to arm myself with as much info as I can to help him become a good guy. And I saw this chat with this guy who talks about raising boys about every boy is raised with two dogs. They have anger and lust as these dogs and it's their job. It's our job to help them get these dogs on a leash. We don't deny that they exist. It is masculine and testosterone driven to have lust and anger coursing through their bodies. They exist. But we have to teach our men that they are not the dogs and the dogs are not in control of them, but they are the master and they have these two leashes and they can keep these two very natural instincts on a tight leash.
Such a great analogy.
Amazing analogy. And gave me empathy,
Yeah, it's hard work. It's exhausting.
I struggle to find empathy for the men sometimes.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that's so true. And I can relate from a hormonal point of view because we
feel out of control.
We have out of control hormonal experiences that we have to keep on a leash in order to be good people and show up in society. So I was like, oh my God, that's so interesting. Not to deny lust or violence in our boys, but actually to acknowledge they exist, but also that you have the control and the mastery over these animals that walk alongside you. And I was like, oh, we could all do better to acknowledge these things exist so we can
denying them does nothing. It's completely unhelpful because then it's putting shame on it. It's keeping it in the shadows.
That's
it's a secret, something to hide away.
Yeah.
And then you're not actually confronting it head on and dealing with it with honesty and wide eyes.
And I think a lot of the disconnect between men and women is in men only circles. There's a bit of a wink and a nod of this is just for us to know. But it actually, if we all know it, maybe we can just make, be less shocked and more how do I feel about this and what lines do you have for yourself?
And Rebs and I are in a privileged position. I don't even know if privilege is the right word, but we've been given the gift of raising a pigeon pair. And I think sometimes when you're a mum of boys exclusively or a mum of girls exclusively, you really don't see the differences physiologically, biologically in these kids. And it's so obvious. So if you've never raised a son before, testosterone surges are fucking real.
And it can be quite shocking if you haven't
so
experienced
shocking. And it can stick around for a season, sometimes longer than you want it to. But it's like any developmental leap. It's like a kid frustrated that hasn't found words yet and they can't communicate. It's exactly the same. It ends. It's like they graduate to a new level and then they settle down again, kind of like neuting dogs. Remember Buster was hectic until he got his balls cut off. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that we cut our son's balls off.
You heard it here first. Jem wants to neuter all the men.
Well, it's just it's interesting to observe the differences.
Totally.
Because, we live in a society where we really try and push this sort of gender neutrality or not assigning gender to colours. But the reality is men really are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Yeah.
Based on their sex and their hormones. And we can't pretend that's not a thing. And we like to.
But I think that's the middle stage.
Yeah.
I think we need to graduate to the third stage where we just acknowledge and celebrate and try and seek to understand the differences so we're empowered, not constantly shocked by the divide between us.
We had that great chat with Kylie from Women and Children First, who was educating Rebs and I about how damaging the word toxic masculinity is for young boys because being proud of your sex and who you identify with as a young boy is actually really important.
Yeah.
But the problem is we've swung so far in the other direction where we're trying to almost stamp out who they are out of them or telling them it's bad.
Or just by inherently being a boy, you're toxic.
You're toxic.
Yeah.
And so she kind of taught us the term positive masculinity. We have a whole episode on that, by the way, which you can check out.
Yeah, me and my sister have been talking a lot about like one thing we've noticed in the boys is when they're in trouble. Like this is a difference we've identified. So when the girls are in trouble, often it's self-flagellation. Oh my God, I'm so bad. I can't believe I did that. What's wrong with me? And it's like, okay, all right, calm down. Whereas with the boys will be like, you've made me feel this when they get in trouble.
Blame.
Now you're making me feel and it's like, oh, that really feels like a very different. And doesn't that track,
Well, yeah.
into
it
adult
does.
relationships sometimes where you're like,
100%. It's victimizing themselves.
The woman's
yeah.
instinct can be to self-flagellate and the man's is to blame.
Yeah.
And that's just like a really interesting thing. Now, of course, we can evolve and learn and, be smarter than the first instinct.
Of course.
That's maturing. But it's just really interesting.
Yeah.
I think.
It's all very fascinating and very complicated and feels like an enormous responsibility.
It's just up to you, DL, I guess, like what threads you want to pull and what kind of relationship you have and what you want to know.
But I think one thing a lot of women, mothers, can be aligned on is that we want to raise some good fucking men and
Respectful.
put them out into the world.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of dickheads out there.
Yep. All right, DLs, we hope you have a wonderful weekend. That was a bit of a heavy one for Bestie
It
Hotline.
sure was. It
I'd
took
be-
a turn.
I'd be keen to know what the DLs think. Let's keep the chat going in the Facebook group. If you're not in there, get in there. It's the best place on the internet, in my humble opinion.
I'm going to really hold on to that analogy about the two dogs.
Yeah, let me find it and stick it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like visually, the imagery of it, like it feels visceral. Like we all know that feeling, don't we,
Yeah.
of trying to contain a dog that wants to drag you. I love it.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, I'll dig it up.
Yes, please.
Love you, DLs. Have a great weekend.
And as always, we'll be back in your ears bright and early on Tuesday with a regular episode.
Bye.
Bye.